Hi, hello. How are you? How's it going? I'm Michael Palisak, and this is my podcast. I just got my kid to sleep. Uh, Episode 60. What if it wasn't What if I was just? I'm the guest host of I just got my kid to sleep. You don't have to do guest hosts when you do a show one day a week, and you say it's a day, and you really do it whenever's best for you. Hey, can you cover for me because the times I was gonna do it were pretty pretty good for not doing it. I hope everybody can hear my audio is this is part of the podcast is learning audio, but it sounded good. Let's see how that was pretty good. Okay. Um yeah, I didn't really do anything. So, this is episode 60. That is wow, 60. This is the 60th. This is longer than Lent in days. Lent, why am I bringing up Lent? It's Easter. I don't know if you know this, but if you are if you celebrate Easter's on the Sunday last week, but if you're Catholic, Easter goes for like um I don't know, 40 days of Easter, like just as many days of sad days. There's as many days of Easter days. It's like we put you through this, but here's what's coming to you, you know? You're welcome. And as a kid, I remember finding that out, but it doesn't you don't get to do eggs every day and you don't get to uh find an Easter basket. And really even if we're going to go into it, I feel like candy is still just as regulated during the rest of the Easter season as it was previously. I know with my son it is because I think parents learn their lesson kind of on Easter and they're like, They're not doing that again." Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't think candy in itself is bad, but like when they could find it in an Easter basket and they're like, "Can I eat this?" They're like, "Oh, it's Easter." I'm thinking like an adult, like, "Oh, I'm a almost 200-pound man. One Starburst isn't gonna affect me." But then like a 6-year-old who's like less than a quarter of my size eats it. I'm just giving out everyone's details right now. I'm not actually 200. I'm close. If I was that, if I get some muscle on me, I got that YMCA membership. No, but like for math purposes, less than a quarter, he gets that Starburst and he's like, "Oh, let's do another one." And it's like, okay. And then he has another. And then it's like, now it's in his system. We went, man, it's fun. We went to see Minecraft, not on Easter. I know that would have been a fun thing probably. We went out during the Easter season though, so we were still celebrating Easter. Yesterday was Easter Sunday, but not the Easter Sunday. The second Sunday in Easter time. Is this liturgical research interesting to the non-religious? It's all like social studies, right? I think about that sometimes when I read a news article in like a newspaper and it's kind of heavy. I'm like, oh, this could be in a weekly reader. Did you ever get a weekly reader growing up? I think if I ever go on a podcast where we talk about things we remember, like remember, or I think it's called "How Did We Get Weird" with Vanessa Bayer and her brother. They talk about things from their past. I think I would bring up weekly readers. I don't have a lot to say on them. I just remember getting them and the paper being pretty flimsy, but it was usually in color, which was nice. And then it felt like you were reading a newspaper as a kid, which little did they know, no one would read newspapers anymore. So they really should have been giving us a couple different options of websites and being like, pick the one that's the least bias. And then if you do that, you get an extra day Easter. I gotta sneeze. I thought I know it. It always takes me a little while. I hope maybe I lost people. Um, but yeah, so that's the part of the podcast where we talk about what I would do on other podcasts. I think that'd be fun to talk about weekly readers. I'd have to look at one again. I think. I don't know. But yeah, so we went to go see Minecraft on the second Sunday in Easter, and what a day! What a way to celebrate! I don't know if you've seen Minecraft, but it's exactly like the video game. I don't know. I've never played the video game Minecraft. So I was a child previous to Minecraft. Minecraft was just a thought in Steve or whoever created its head. Like no one knew what that was. Isn't that crazy? To go to a time in my lifetime when I was a child or even a kind of, older, like there was no Minecraft. And then I think when I became an adult, like Minecraft to me is like, I guess Mario Brothers was to my parents, or like Ninja Turtles. It's like, wow, that looks awesome and cool, and I would love to get involved in something like that. But I'm an adult and I have other things. It's weird as a parent because I am a parent. My son, his name is Jack, and I just got him to sleep. If we recorded it right after I got him to sleep last night, he did not go to sleep, but he did eventually. But I'm gonna not lose this track. I'm on a train going towards a thing. Like it's weird the things as a parent where I'm like, oh, this is fun that I wouldn't have discovered really if I wasn't a dad. Like my old roommates when I first moved out to LA, there was a Nintendo Wii just sitting in the living room. I was gonna say family room, but they weren't family. They were just friends, but they could have been family. The 20s is when your family becomes friend. Your friends are your family. They should make a show about that. So I there was a Wii in the living room, and it was someone who left. Like they just didn't live there anymore, and they just left it there, and they never came back for it. And I never played it one time. I never ever played it in that apartment ever. It wasn't mine. That might have been kind of weird, but I think I could have asked, and they'd be like, "Yeah." And I had played a Wii at that point, so I knew what it was. And for some, like I lived in that apartment for like 5 years at least. No, maybe 4 or 3, but still, that's like years. And I didn't have video games in my life, and I was completely. I thought I was fine. I feel like video games to me have become like what being a dad was before. Like before I was a dad, I was like, oh, what's that about? That's not. I wasn't even like, what's that about? I was just like, I'm not. That's not in the thing right now. I was not a prospect right away. I was a comedian. I'm getting it. Comedy. I'll figure that out when I remember when I was probably like a year into comedy, maybe less, and my friends and I used to go to BW3s in the area after the open mic, and we were all walking to our cars afterwards, and we had a good time. The BW3s at the time had this boxing machine where you could like, it was before the Wii. I think it was. It was. Wow. I did play Wii before it. It was like a stand-up arcade one where like the thing would like box you and you'd to like move and duck and then punch it back. And that was definitely before the Wii. And maybe I developed it. Maybe I helped develop this. So this is like my little Forrest Gump moment. Also, I mentioned to Steve Jobs that they should really make a TV in my phone. That would make life a lot easier. So I I'm playing. We play this game, and I don't know if you've played that game before or any video game, but my main style of video games I don't know how to play is just like effort, you know, like when they were boxed, I was just like, I'm gonna move back and forth as fast as I can, and let's see if this robot, not robot, but like arcade video screen can get me, and I would get so sweaty, and but I got pretty far, for my level of boxing as a stand-up comedian. And what else did I do there? The other thing I did that was fun, other than just sharing moments, I gotta reach out to those guys. Was if they're listening, I wouldn't they not be cut, but like we got stuff. What the other thing that we would do, we'd eat wings, and BW3s. This is BW3s is a lot of stuff, but this was not a prop. That video game thing was awesome, and they have they had really hot wing called, I think it was Wild at the time. And my friend Brian Aldridge was like, I was like, I'll eat one of those. And he's like, I don't think you will. And I was like, okay, I will. And I did. I did. And that's the thing about me is I'll do a thing. Um, if I'm not morally against it. I regretted it for a long time. Not like a long, long time, but right after. And, you know, it was really hot. So that's like a fun moment. It's fun to do stuff like that. So anyways, we're walking out to the cars and my friend is like, we're talking about like our dreams and our goals. And I mentioned something about having kids, and she's like, "Well, don't you want to get famous first?" Because at the time, like I think Seinfeld had done his show, and then a couple years went by, and then he was married and had kids, and it was just sort of like, "Oh yeah, we'll wait," you know. But then here's what I realized, which I didn't like when you have a kid, um, if it happens or not, that's sort of fame. That's sort of fame enough, which is maybe a good reason to wait if you really want fame. But it's good fame because it's like sympathetic fame. Like one person thinks you're the best in the world, at least so far. I've heard when you're around. Maybe that's why they don't make longer than like 10 episodes of a season because the audience becomes like a teenager after like 12 and they're like we don't think you're funny anymore. We don't like I wonder what the longest I feel like Frasier was maybe 11 and then the audience just like we're not boring, like they become like teenagers. That's something to do an experiment on. Does the audience react the way their age is? Someone said one time that stand-up comedian, like how whatever year you are in it, that's how you're gonna behave it professionally, I guess. So if like I'm 21 years in, that means I can drink a lot. But I think a lot of comedians drink before they're 21 years in. Legally drink. Um so anyway, she was like, "Why don't you should wouldn't you?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And then I was just like, that's just why not? Because you don't know. And then I became a dad and I realized, oh, that's one person thinks I'm the world that I feel like I'm famous to that person. They don't even know the people. That's what's crazy about kids is like children don't even know the people that you think are famous, that you would be like stunned to meet. They don't even know who they are. They could walk in there and their kid would just be like, "Who are you?" "That's my dad. Get out of the way." And that's kind of cool. Friends are also like that too. They know who the famous people are usually, but I guess what I'm saying is if you're going after fame, which not necessarily am or was, um, you could just have kids. And yeah, I think as a comedian it gets confusing because I remember I was in an acting class one time in college, and which I loved that class in acting. And our teacher said something about like when it comes to like theater, you got to watch out for people that just want the attention or whatever. Those aren't going to be good people to do shows with, and or to be involved with. But as a comedian, I feel like the like drive for fame isn't like it's like, oh, I want everyone to know me. I mean, that's obviously like in an ideal world fun, but there's stuff that goes along with it too, maybe. But it just means you are more, you're more successful in a way. Like you're making more money, you can sell more tickets, you kind of have more freedom. You have more freedom to do stand up in bigger places or smaller places or with different people, or you can do maybe more TV shows or movies. And who doesn't want freedom? Who wants to be stuck in a little box? Who wants to be like, oh, I gotta go to this tiny room in this tiny town and do a show for these tiny people? They're not tiny. There's less people, and they're gonna be whatever. But I'm gonna get paid, and I gotta go so I can have money. Like, who wants to do that? I kind of do now. That's the other thing about being a parent is like once you have the child who thinks you're more famous than anybody that you've ever believed was famous, then you're like, all right, how do I get away from them? because I can't get security from my child. That's literally not legal. Like, you can never claim that your child is stalking you. You can never put a restraining order on your child. That's like pretty much the only person in the world you can't put a restraining order on, possibly. Like, if you were to call the courts and like, I got to get a restraining order out, like, the first question should be like, is it your child? Yeah. Well, then just raise them. Ugh. Yesterday, no, 2 days, Saturday, because I was home for the whole weekend. Because you have to, I guess, sometimes be home, and I was home for the weekend, and I told my son before he went to sleep, because sometimes when I'm home for the weekend, he'll just like wake up because he's so excited that like it'll literally be like a street light, and he's like, "Dad, it's morning." I'm like, "That's a street light," and sometimes it's not a street, and I'm like, "I think it's a street light, Jack." "No, I think it's 10 a.m. Let's stick with the street light for 3 more hours. Dad went to bed late, so um I was like, before he went to sleep, I was like, "Hey, buddy, you don't have to yell, Dad, it's morning anymore. You're 6, you can just come out of your little room here and you can just play." And he was like, "Okay, Dad." I was like, "Yeah, you don't have to, you don't need me to leave your room. You can come out of this room all by," because he's the oldest, also the only. So he's also the youngest and the middle. I can totally feel the middle from him. He's just, you know, he's just a pleaser kind of. No, what does the middle child do? They don't want people to argue. I don't remember. Let's not do prophecies. Let's not do self-fulfilling prophecies. We should do positive things about middle child. Middle children are hilarious and really good at doing technical parts of podcasts. Also, normal parts. I hope this is loud enough. Thank you for listening and turning it up if it's not. Um, so I was like, "Hey, buddy, you can just come on out, because I remember as a kid, I don't know if it was 6, but at some point, I mean, I had an older brother, so we just woke up, and our parents were like, "Well, they're all up." And my dad would wake up early, but not because my mom was up. My mom was up late, doing cleaning, whatever, running a household, and so we would just wake up and we would just play and eat breakfast or whatever, and so I just imagined that world for him. On a Saturday, he could wake up, eat breakfast, play. I remember visiting one of my best friends from high school. I had 2 of them, so I'd say one of my best. I could say 3, but I don't think he would consider me one. So I visited him when Jack was like a baby, and his son was 5. He was 5. I remember he was 5 because they had like a little apartment above their house, and we were staying in there. And we woke up with Jack because Jack was up super early, and their son was just up on an iPad, playing on an iPad all by himself, not bothering anybody for a while, for maybe like an hour, just like do 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 do. And the parents were asleep, and I was like, "This is amazing." At 5, 5, 5, 5. I mean, like, when do you wake up as a parent at that point? I think that's part of it for me. I'm not worried about my kid being addicted to video games. I'm worried about being addicted to my kid playing video games. I think that's what it. Well, like the video games we play now, like I kind of have to be there because it's like they're super old, like they're like a Wii, and you gotta like plug it in and hit input or whatever. But like the iPad video games, like, oh yeah, we'll just, here you go, hour of screen time right when you wake up. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna wake up on your own and then play on this, and then when an hour goes by, then you let me know. Come in here and set my alarm. I have an alarm on my nightstand. I love a real alarm. I don't. I like a phone alarm is fine, but what? Can I be honest? Like when I told Steve Jobs about the TV on the phone, I didn't need alarms on the phone too, but it makes sense to have alarms on the phone. But I don't know. I was just like, hey Jack, play this for an hour, but before you do, set my alarm for an hour, and then I'll wake up, and then we'll do our day. It's like when you have your kid and they're with like, I don't know, maybe they have like after school care, and you can pick them up at 5. You can pick them up whenever. It's like, well, how do I get there before 5? Like, I've been picking him up around 3 lately because I've realized that 5, if I pick him up at 5, then he's going to go to bed so late. So it's more just to get some hours a night back so I can watch basketball. But it's also because I love him. It's not because I want a restraining order at all. I wonder if you could. You can't. You can't put a restraining order in. You care for your kids. That's the one person who can pretty much. I was thinking about that recently. Like babies, like 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, the way they treat their parents sometimes when they need a thing. Like, and this is just, I don't think learned behavior. It's just natural this baby figuring out how to communicate what they want in a way that's appropriate, and they don't know the appropriate way. The way they do it for a while is you'd be like, we got to break up. Like that. If you were in a relationship with someone that treated you like that, you'd be like, we're good. You know, go do you. I'm going to be, because it's like, you don't talk to me like that. And they don't even talk yet. They're just screaming. It's like you woke up from your nap on your own. There's no reason to be mad at me right now. And they're still screaming. It's just like, that's a red flag right away for your kid if they were a person that you're in a relationship with. Not, but like, but it's fun and it's beautiful. But yeah. So we went to go see Minecraft, and it's a challenge. They say you can't always please your kids, you know, or you shouldn't try to please your kids. That's what it is. Like one of my friends is like, it's not my job to please them. It's my job to make them ready for the world. Which, I mean, he's got 3 or 4. I should know that. But I feel like when you have one, it's like, well, we can also cater it a little bit. Like maybe that's the problem, is like they get used to things being done a certain way. But anyway, we get to the movie, and he's like, I don't want to be late. And I'm like, all right. So we're there early, and we get our food, and we go sit down early. And then he's like, I hate the preview. He didn't say I hate previews, but he's just like, I don't want to see he's like, I don't want to see the interviews, Dad. I don't want to be here for the interviews. And I'm like, well, here, son, I'm sure there's a way to time it out, but I didn't do it today. I'm sure there's a way where you can figure out exactly how long the interviews are before a movie. Previews, by the way. And then get there, and you can pre-order food now at AMC's, which is very nice. Did you know that there wasn't a line, and I don't on my phone, I feel like I don't have all the options. I feel like when I'm at a place, like I'll do DoorDash, it's great. I love it. But like when I'm at the place, I feel like, oh, now I know what I'm working with, you know? I can see all the food. I can be like, oh, can we really do this? You know? And sometimes on the app, they don't do that. Sometimes on the app, things are a little more expensive. Did you know that? You should price check it if it seems a little expensive and you're picking it up yourself. That happened one time at a CVS, I think, or a Walgreens. Right, or I got something, and on the receipt, it said it was a certain price, and on the app, it charged me a different price. You should check that out, because I don't want to be taken advantage of. This isn't a consumer necessary podcast. I did just do the how long did it last thing with contact solution, where it only took 3 weeks for a whole thing contact solution. I do need to buy more contact solution. How long can I talk like this? But I don't want you to be taken advantage of. And no. So, you could order your snacks ahead of time, which if you don't have kids and you go to the movies, I get why you wouldn't order stuff, because we got there, we went to the second Sunday and Easter mass, and then I was just like, we're just gonna do as little as possible, because sometimes you like, this is their day off, we could do everything, and I was just like, well, we're gonna go to church, and then we're gonna see where we are, you know. And then I got the movie, and like, we're going to the movies, so I got movie tickets, and it was like over an hour after, so it's like we got time to do everything. And then we're just gonna go home and we're gonna get ready for bed, because I need to put this little stalker to sleep. And Dad, it's morning. Anyway, so you can order your food ahead of time. Oh yeah, we got there early. I guess there's a way to do it where you can order your food, get there, order the food, and sit down right as the movie starts. And I guess that's what he was asking, which personally, I wouldn't mind either, because then I do like the preview. I do like the interviews a little bit. I love it when my kid says something a little bit wrong. It's just like, yeah, these are interviews. Like, it just reminds you of how little they know, or a less nice way to say how stupid they are. Interviews. No one is asking anybody questions in this. Jack. It's a preview. Preview. But they're trying to connect, and I like it. Um, and then you just sit down and watch your movie. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I was talking about earlier. I was like, Jack, you can just go, basically live your day, and I'll stay asleep. And so he's like, okay. And so then around 9 a.m., which is nice, he just kind of comes into my room. He's like, Dad, I'm awake now. I was like, that you didn't figure this out. You used to yell that and wake up the whole apartment building, so I like that. But also, you could play with your toys for like a little bit, like 15 minutes. That water drinking sound might be kind of weird, but maybe the mic's kind of low. It wouldn't pick it up. Is it picking it up? Um, but I loved the Minecraft movie. I think it'd be great for non-parents, possibly because like if you're a non-parent watching Minecraft, you won't look over your kid who ordered an icy, and you're like, well, we're at the movie theaters, and AMC only offers like the huge size. Like, what are you? I'll pay extra to have a smaller one. That's what I'll. That's what I'm gonna offer next time. It's not on the app. I'll have to order it, not ahead of time. I'm gonna go up there and be like, hey, can I get an icy, but can I get in a Coke drink? And like, sir, you can't pay less. No, 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 no. I want to pay the icy price, but give me a smaller cup. Here, I brought a cup. I brought my own. You can't fill up your own cup. No, 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 no. Because he's going to drink that whole thing. And maybe it's fine. Maybe he's a kid and his body can take it. But it's not going to be enjoyable for me for the first 15 minutes of the movie when he's just like leaning over, sucking down an icy because he hasn't had one in so long. And it's just like, I leaned over multiple. I was like, "Hey, buddy, you don't have to drink it all now, because his mouth was on the icy. It's a huge icy. He's 6. He's 50 pounds, and he's drinking like 1 pound of ice. It's 1/50th of his body, and he's down in it. And it's blue. It's his favorite color. I get it, and he's like, just drink. And I'm like, we have popcorn. I got pizza because that was the thing. We didn't really. I brought snacks for him on the way. We didn't. We brought him into the theater, but we didn't eat them. No job. But anyway. We he had some sandwiches on the way there, and so he wasn't super hungry. But I got pizza there because I was like, this is lunch now. This is lunch. I can, if a judge ever asked me, did we get meals I could be like, well, we got lunch, and I have a receipt, and the pizza was $20, and it was very small and more. It was in a flatbread box. Why are you calling it a pizza, AMC? If it's enough, give me a circle at least for my $18.99 or whatever. Give me a circle. Why? Why does it have to be? I guess people like it when there's no sauce and just garlic. I don't know. But the popcorn was very good. And he's just eating his icy. And it's just like, buddy, and he just didn't stop till it like was only frozen stuff. And that's when he said, pretty much loud enough for everyone to hear, Dad, I can't drink more. And there's this wave of relief on me. It's like, oh, it is done. He is done, which is very Easter of it, like the pre-East, not as good part of Easter for everybody. It is finished. Probably shouldn't compare those, but he said it loud. But it's a kids movie, kind of. It's a movie for kids could go to, and everyone was nice. And I was like, okay, and I took it and I put it on the ground, and he was like, "Is it melt? Can I drink it now?" And I bowled up, and he couldn't, and and then he didn't drink anymore the rest of the movie, which was really good. But then we're walking out of the movie, and they ask you to throw away your stuff now, so I had my stuff, and I was icing, and I was like, I could just throw this away, but I'm going to wait because I know I'm an easy dad. I could have just been like, it's gone now. It's gone forever. But I wanted to have it there just in case he was like, can I drink it? And he probably wouldn't have been able to drink the sugar part. I did throw it away eventually. I swear it's gone. But yeah, he did that. And then, the movie was great. So what I'm saying is if you're not a parent, you go see Minecraft, you won't be distracted by your child ingesting incredible amounts of icy. You'll be able to enjoy because the first 15 minutes are really funny. I mean, the whole movie is fun. I feel like comedies, unless it's like a sort of a slice of life comedy, like Super Bad, which is not a kids movie. Do not bring your kid child that. It's not in theaters anyway. But it's like an example, or like a movie where it's like just life, Wedding Crashers is kind of crazy, but it's so funny. I don't know. I feel like once the premise gets out there, sometimes you're so wrapped up in the story, you're not laughing. And Minecraft was pretty much funny the whole way. And Jack Black was very much funny, but like a big part of being funny of it. And he's great. And Aquaman. I didn't even recognize him as Aquaman. I mean, I did recognize him, but it was a great, great time. 2 thumbs up. Does anybody rate movies like that? Somebody should. But yeah, so that was Friday. That was Sunday. This is my whole weekend at home. And Saturday, Jack was supposed to have soccer games, but they got rained out. Here's what's crazy about the youth these days. When I was a kid, remember when I would play soccer? I don't think soccer gets rained. Like we never got rained out. Maybe we did, but I remember coming back from a soccer game one time so muddy that my dad had to like hose me off in the backyard, and I was like 3. I'm like, why are we even here right now? But they canceled Jack's soccer game on Friday when it was completely nice outside. But then it did rain pretty hard on Sunday or Saturday, so they knew. And so we didn't get to go play soccer. Well, I wouldn't have gotten to play. I would have got to live through him. And, he's at a level right now where that can be painful. He's the lowest level of his age that he's playing against. So he tries and he kicks and he runs. But there's like old 7-year-olds that are like, you could have told me they were 8-year-olds, and I'll be like, I believe you, and they're just dominating because the net is big and the kids are small. And go Stingrays. Anyway, we got invited to a birthday party. Well, Jack did, and I got to come. And it was at Chuck E. Cheese. And I don't know if you've been to Chuck E. Cheese in a long time. It's different. You can still drink. Well, like I never could drink because I only went as a kid, because it's where a kid can be a kid. It's interesting that Chuck E. Cheese is a place where a kid can be a kid, but really it's like, hey, you can drink here. That's kind of like whenever a place advertises itself to families and kids, it seems they're heavy on like there's alcohol. Like Disney, like I guess there's not alcohol everywhere in Disney, but like Epcot Center and California Adventure. I remember as a kid we didn't take a lot of vacations, but one year we went to Disney World and we went to Epcot the second day. And as an adult, my dad was like, "Yeah, that's the only place you get a beer." I'm like, "I didn't know that you were thinking about that." So, and then I found out you can drink around the world. So, yeah, there's still you can still drink beer at I don't know about shots. No one was doing that. It's weird to have a kid's birthday party and parents drinking celebratorily, because it's like, I mean, shots would make sense, like ta Zay, and then everyone that can drink drinks. I didn't drink because I wanted to win tickets, and I just thought it might affect my gameplay. I got sneezing again. Man, this is the second. Here's a question, and we'll get back to that. I know you're all on a cliffhanger here, but like, how do you know when your kid is like sick versus just like realizes that he doesn't have to go to school if he can be sick? Because we've gotten a couple notes, not to us, but to the school in general. Like, if your kid's sick, don't bring them. If they're sick, we'll even send them home. That's what the school said. Yeah, you should. That's assumed. If a kid is sick, here's what I'm going to assume. If my kid is sick and he goes to school, I'm saying, in my defense, he was fine when he left my house. Yeah, he sneezed. He's got allergies. What? His eyes were red. He was allergies. He coughed a lot. It was the cereal. He had a new cereal, so he was coughing. I thought it was the cereal. I didn't think that it was a communicable disease. I'm so sorry that my son is throwing up right now. He threw up at home, but I thought it was because of the food that he ate, and he just didn't like it, and he was trying to be like, I'm never eating this healthy cereal again. So then he coughed, and then he puked. I would never bring a sick kid to school. I thought he was like extra healthy today, and he was going to make extra kids healthy because he puked out all the stuff that was bad for him. So I only thought he would be good to bring to school. That's why I did. That's my excuse. I never gotten into that conversation. Usually they're just like, hey, come get your kid. I don't know. It's never been that bad where they called and had me come get him. But there was one time I showed up and I dropped him off at school and he was coughing, but kids cough. That's a slippery slope. The other day, Jack was the icy day, the Sunday, because he was perfectly healthy all day, and then he downed an icy, and before the first act of the movie was done, For non-screenplay writers, that's like within 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't all gone, but a good amount. Like there's some parts he couldn't. We talked about that. Um, that's where the icy people get you. They're like, we'll get them a big one, but though if they drink it fast, they won't even be able to get to the ice. Ice is free. Ice isn't free. What are you talking about? Ice has never been free. So we we get home and he's like coughing, and that's when I was like, I don't think we should have ices anymore. And he's like, what? And I was like, well, you weren't coughing, and then you drank the huge ice. I don't even know what it's called, a slushy, icy Slurpee, and now you're coughing. Which I don't even see the appeal. Like if I'm gonna, I didn't really drink them as a kid, but if I'm doing ice cream, or like something like that. But anyways, I was like, we probably and then he like kind of stopped coughing right away. And I was like, I don't know if we can go to school. He's like, you can go to school coughing, because he knows that I've done that. So anyway, yeah, there was one time I took him to school, because there's part of me that's like, now it's like May, right? Almost May. School's almost done, right? He's gonna be done, and I've just accepted that my house is gonna look like this until there's a break. There's someday there'll be a big break. I've had them before. I'll just stay up all night, and I'll be able to like reverse all of the lack of organization that has been achieved by my getting sleep. That's the thing that is weird as a parent. When you're a parent and you have a tiny kid that you can't get a restraining order against, you have to, like, before you're a parent, if you want to clean your house, you just, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been a parent, but I feel like you don't have to stay up and miss sleep for it. I feel like you can move some stuff around. But as a parent, I'm literally looking at like piles of stuff and just being like, well, I could clean that and organize it and go to sleep later, or I could just step over it and go to sleep now. Oh, which sounds more delicious, more tempting, more interesting to you at 1 a.m., 12 a.m. Well, this pile of clean clothes that's in my suitcase, because that's a good trick. If you ever have clean laundry and you don't have room in your basket anymore, you can open up a suitcase and put it in there. This pile of clothes that's overflowing my suitcase, I could fold it and put it away, but Jack's asleep. I wouldn't be able to go into his room because I might wake him up. I'll just wait to fold it and step over it, and then I get to go to sleep. Like, all I have to do is step over it and go to sleep. And the good part about sleep is you don't see any of your mess. That's the tricky part about sleep. Like, if I guess some people might get distracted by a mess, but if I was somebody like that, yeah, I would not be getting sleep. But I'm not. That's one thing I learned about myself, is I'm not someone who has to clean up before they sleep. I will sleep like a baby who left the mess themselves. Not like food, but like, I mean, I could sleep during it, but I know it's good to clean up that stuff. It's just like stuff. Anyway, what were we talking about? Yeah. So we went to Chuck E. Cheese, which I didn't drink at all because I didn't want to affect my ticket playing ability. We got there. I haven't been to a lot of birthday parties. I've been to Jack's birthday party and two others, which is low. That's low numbers for a dad who's so present in his child's life. I travel a lot during birthday parties, not on purpose, but after going to some, I'm like, maybe. No, this one was super fun. Jack, he got there, and the child's mom just took Jack's wrist, and she did it so simply and so soft, so slyly even, and she slid a card over. It was on a thing, and it was on his wrist, and she was just like, "Oh, go have fun." And he didn't realize what it was. I knew that was a card to play games, and a free, just for showing up, you get to play a game. And I was so confused. I don't remember going. I remember going to Chuck E. Cheese birthday parties, but I don't remember that part. There was coins when I was a kid. There was just big piles of coins, and sometimes the coins would run out, and sometimes they wouldn't. But this card, we got there. He started playing. And he's just like doing games. He's doing games. They're all like, a lot of the ones now are just ticket games. It's like, knock over this thing, win some tickets. Knock over this, win ticket. Like when I was a kid, there was like there was those games. And there was also like Ninja Turtle video game and like other video games, like video arcade games. These are mostly just for winning. It's like I get why there's child labor laws. Kids shouldn't work, But when they walk into Chuck E. Cheese, if you can trick them that this work is for tickets and then they get like a lollipop at the end, like you could get them to do some stuff. Um, Anyway, so he's just playing, and I'm just like, I'm getting anxious. There's the inner child in me that's grown up that's like anxious because I'm like, all right, the party's for 2 hours. We're gonna use this card up in like 5 minutes, and on the thing it says it's like 120, and I'm like, okay, what that we can make it. And he's just like killing. He's just going through it, and earning all these tickets or whatever, and it's fun. And at one point, I'm just like, we're just gonna see how this goes. I can't control him. I can't be like, let's slow down. We tried to play air hockey for a little bit because I was like, that's that takes a little longer. I can make this game last. But then I realized it was time related. It worked. It was unending coins on a card for the whole 2 hours, and we didn't even get there exactly on time, and it lasted until amazing. We got to play for 2 hours straight. Like there was food, and I pointed that out to Jack, and he wasn't really interested, and we just played. He played most. I only got. It wasn't until the end when I realized that I could use this card that like I could play, and that was really fun. And we got to do some Space Invaders. That's like a cool video game. But it's just like a kid's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese is like what you want every day to be like as a kid that's not outside playing. It's like, oh, you just go in and your job, like the main way to participate in this birthday party is to go around and get tickets for 2 hours. Like there was some cake, and there's going to be cake and Dippin' Dots, and then a crown that makes you look like Chuck E. Cheese, and then Chuck E's going to come out and sing, and you're 6. And then they give you a little gift basket where there's like a little foam dart that you can blow at your dad at home and remember all the joy you had playing. Jack earned like 800 tickets, and we went up to go like cash those in on the way out. And that's the part of the day that can be kind of realistic to the older kid. It can kind of be a reality check, not realistic. Sometimes I don't know the word and I just say one similar to it. It's a good reality check because you get up there and you're like, all right, I got all these tickets and what can I get? 800 sounds like a lot. And you look at the things that are things like real toys and it's like, this is 3,000, 4,000 tickets, 8,000. I'd have to do that 8 times, which you can. They also, at Chuck E. Cheese, this is not sponsored by Chuck E. Cheese, they also do have a thing where you can pay monthly and come every day, which I'm not going to do it. But I mean, for Jack, I wouldn't because he's got there's not a lot as much like running around. I'm not coming every day or whatever. But, that's how you earn that stuff. Those toys are for those people. And that's what, when you're an older kid, there's this like, oh, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to get that. But like Jack looked at the row in front of him and he was just like picking out candy. And this is pre-slushy, so he hasn't really, ingested all that sugar yet. So he's just enjoying that. He picked out like a little fake thing or whatever. He called it Laffy Taffy. It was an airhead. It was a fun moment for us. Like Laffy Taffy, that's airhead. And then we walked out of there and it was like, that was our day. And I was like, wow, that's a good part. Like, 'cause we'd done a birthday party for Jack at like an indoor playground where there's like ball crawls and stuff and it's fun and kids are playing, but like that's like a gift to give a kid that card. Anyway, that was the weekend. I was in Brea, California on Friday. Thanks for everyone for coming out. And that was not really anything other than the show. And some good friends come to the show. We talked a lot before, and that was very fun. I never know who's listening. I don't think anybody, but if someone's been in my life this weekend and you don't come up on the podcast, it was great, and I loved seeing you. This week is going to be amazing because I get to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I kind of been listening to these podcasts a little bit, and I'm not going to sing. But if I were to sing, I would sing now because Santa Fe by Christian Bale in the movie Newsies they say lives rent-free in my head. I don't know if it really does. But if I hear Santa Fe, that's all I think of is Christian Bale doing cowboy stuff and going to Santa Fe. Because I was like a child, and I was like, I want to do that, My parents are always telling me what to do. I'll go to Santa Fe. I'm flying into Albuquerque because it's cheaper. But I'm going to get to Santa Fe. And I'm going to do my show at Unit B. And, it'll be really fun. And then on that's Saturday the show, and then on Friday I'm flying into Albuquerque, and I'm gonna check out all of the Breaking Bad sites that are not real but look like they're from the show. Like you want to go to Albuquerque and see where they shot, but you don't want to accidentally see the real, right? I don't know. Breaking Bad's a movie about selling drugs. Um Anyway, then Sunday, I'm in Ridgeway, Colorado at the Sherbino Theater. I was there last year and I'm back for a second show. I have family and my cousins are from there. My aunt still lives in Ridgeway and it'll be really fun. And then Sunday, that's Sunday, then Monday, May 5th, Cinco de May. I don't know all the Spanish. Cinco de Mayo. I'm in Montrose, Colorado, and I'm super excited. And then the next week, I go to Tyler, Texas, which is outside of Dallas. And then I'm in Oklahoma City for Mother's Day. So all those moms who want to laugh at parenting stuff, I'll be at the Oklahoma City Bricktown Comedy Club Mother's Day night. And then the next week is too far off for me to remember exactly where I'm gonna be. San Antonio, and then Corpus Christi, Texas. So doing a lot of Texas. This is my Texas month, and then I do the Elgin, Illinois Hemmons Cultural Center, and that's like a big theater, so that's a big deal. I don't usually do those. I don't turn them down, but usually those happen because someone will reach out to my booking agent and they'll be like, "We want Michael Palsek," and then my agent will be like, "Well, that's a big venue, so you have to be okay with this amount of people coming." And they're like, "We want Michael Palsek," and that's what happened in Elgin. So I'll be in Elgin and then Fort Wayne, Indiana, and then Box Elder, South Dakota, and a couple other places in Yankton, South Dakota, and another place in South Dakota. I don't remember. Oh, Sioux Falls. At Severance Brewing Company. I love Severance Brewing Company. I did a show there before. They have, I think they have an axe throwing part of maybe I gotta do that this time. No, I think that was a different bar. I don't think Severance had that. Severance is really cool because it's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is like a city, which is cool. I love going to cities and states where they don't have a lot of cities, where there's not a lot of people, because you still want the city stuff. So they got a lot of city stuff, but then they don't have all the city stuff that you don't want. Like there's room. Like I remember this bar, if I'm remembering correctly, is like right downtown, and across the street it's just like this wide open green space that hasn't been like turned into a park yet. It hasn't turned into anything. They just have this space where they can develop. I'm like, how valuable, how rural special is this downtown where they're like, we're going to put a lot of stuff, and then this area is just to grow, we'll put something there. And that was fun to talk about last time. So that's where I'm going. Oh, Siri's lighting up on my computer. Also what was exciting this weekend was so Jack has, like, we talked about video games a little bit. I have an original Nintendo, and I ordered the Bubble Bobble game from DK Oldies, because Bubble Bobble is a video game when I was a kid that my mom rented for us. That was back when you could go to a store that rented movies and you could also rent video games. And one of us got sick. I think I was sick home from school, and my mom went. She didn't just leave me alone. I don't know when she got it, but she rented me a video game. It was called Bubble Bobble, and my brothers and I played it, and it was so fun and really easy to complete all these levels. And I always have a warm place for Bubble Bobble because my brother brought my brothers and I together. Like my younger brother could play, I could play, and but we never beat the game. Not a big deal. But anyways, Jack wanted to play a game on the original Nintendo, and I was like, let's get Bubble Bobble. And if you know something about 6-year-olds, you say Bubble Bobble, and they just like to say Bubble Bobble. So we played Bubble Bobble. Came in on like Friday or Saturday, and we played Bubble Bobble, and it was so fun because like here's you can always learn lessons from life anytime there's a struggle, and video games are no different. And what I learned from Bubble Bobble, you get to a level, and they're not all super easy. There's some where it's like you're not gonna beat this level, right? And we would like try to look it up online after failing a lot, And then at some point in every level we came across that we could not beat, there's these little, it's kind of like Pac-Man, and except you're putting bubbles out there and you're trapping bad guys in bubbles, monsters. You're going to these cave monsters homes and you're trapping them. It's really kind of rude if you think about it. Like, I think we're saving somebody at the end. We haven't beaten it. But like to really just take out all these monsters, they're in their homes, you know? They'd be like going outside and just like swatting flies, which I feel like I've seen my dad do. But anyway, you put these monsters in a bubble and then you gotta pop the bubble with them in, and then they disappear. I'm sure they just go someplace nice. And but if you don't pop the bubble right away, then they get angry, they turn red, and then they pop out of the bubble and they move faster and they try to bubble you, eat you or whatever. And there's some levels that are really hard. And what Bubble Bobble does, which I don't, maybe we just discovered it. I haven't really read about it online, but like if you lose enough at Bubble Bobble, there's at some point where you can like get like a secret thing, where you just like sometimes different things will pop up like on the screen, like donuts or shoes or wine martini glasses, which is weird for kids. And then you just kind of like you get it, you eat it with the guy, and then you get points or whatever, or like fruit or vegetables. But sometimes you do it, and all the bad guys will just go away, and you'll just get a lot of points, and then you just beat the level. And I think life is like that sometimes. Like sometimes you can come across something really hard, and you try to think about every way to get through that thing in life, and then at some point you're just like, well, maybe this is just where I am, and then it just goes away. Just something else happens. Someone takes care of all the bad guys. Maybe that's not how life really is, but I like for life to be that way. I think sometimes it is. I think focusing on like when you give up, not give up trying, but like give up trying to like fix everything. That's when everything gets fixed, you know? That I'm not a philosopher, but I feel like that's valid. Anyways, we're in the last level, and that's not happening. The boss does not just die because you lose a lot, because we've lost a lot. But that was Bubble Bobble. And I think that we're pretty close to the end of episode 60. I just got my kid to sleep. If you can see by the lighting, he's at school. But I was tired last night. Jack, we were talking about that last night. Jack goes to my gym on Mondays. I go with him, but he's there. It's like a little gym, but for kids, my gym. And then afterwards they have like a free play thing where I get to like, I thought it'd be fun for me, but really he just wants me to push him around in this cylinder. Like he'll like go in this like foam cylinder, and I got to push him, and he just gets spun around a lot. And he wants me to do it again and again and again, and faster and faster and faster, which I get to work out, which is good. But I don't know if it's fine, but it's weird to push your kid in a thing where he's just like bobbling around. And but anyway, we did all that, and then we did not go to sleep right away. So all good. Many good hours of rest for everybody here. Thank you for listening. I love you. Bye.